Mariam Max. If you can unmute yourself and just say hi. And
Hi, I'm sorry, my video doesn't seem to work very well. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yes, okay. My name is Mariam Marx. I am a mom of two grown-up children, 24 and 22. My profession is a yoga teacher and wellness teacher. So I teach meditation, I teach yoga, I teach healing. And the reason I'm here today is because a brother sent me a link. I am very much involved with human rights. I am an advocate of child sexual abuse. So I'm very much interested in this because I think it touches us in all aspects, especially if for those who are going through trauma. I've gone through my own how can I say, my own changamotos. So this is actually a very good opportunity. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you for having us on. And I really look forward to learn a lot from you and for the rest of the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mariam. We are happy to have you with us. I want to take a microphone to Jessica Felix. Jessica, if you can unmute yourself and say hi. I know we have Beatrice, Jessica, and Jessica Felix. Okay. Jessica's just kukimbia. Okay, well, no. We have two Jessicas and one Jessica's gone. So Jessica Beatrice, say hi to your people.
Okay, hello my people. I'll just imitate what you have said.
Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. This is Jessica Beatus. I'm joining in from Osariva, Arusha. I'm also delighted to be here. I'm a mental health advocate. I am also a trauma informed coach to soon be certified. So thank you.
We're happy to have you, Jessica. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I want to take the microphone to Lida. Lida, say hi to your people.
Okay, thank you, Madati. Hi, everyone. My name is Lida Dalima. I'm currently joining from Katavi, Tanzania, but I reside in Mwanza and I'm working with young girls. So I'm so happy to be in this class and I hope I will learn something that will help me deal with the girls and help the girls that I'm working with, together with helping myself. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lida. Thank you for joining us. I want to take the microphone to Brother Shabani Mbaruku. Just say hi to your people, maybe where you're joining us from.
Okay, thank you, Branry. Yeah, I'm Shaban Baruch, and I'm from Dar es Salaam, and I work with the Life Ministry Tanzania in digital strategies, where we do digital evangelism and discipleship. And yeah, Branry is a friend, so I'm looking forward to learn from to learn something from this session. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shaban. Yeah, I'm taking the microphone to Advocate Gifty. Mwanasheria msomi. Say hi to
Hi.
people.
Hi, my name's Gift Ayo. I'm joining from Arusha. I am an advocate of the High Court. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Gifty. Thank you for joining. Nance? Karibu utusalimie.
Asante. As you said, my name is Nancy. I'm joining from Arusha, and I'm hoping that this will be impactful to each one who attends.
Thank you so much, Nance. Thank you for joining. We haven't heard from Irene. Irene, please say hi to your people.
Hi, my name's Irene. I'm a student. I've just completed Form 6. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you for joining the call. Let me take the microphone to Jessica Felix. Say hi, then tutamaliza na Anesia's.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, tunakusikia Jessica.
Okay, my name is Jessica. I am teacher by profession and I'm joining from Dar es Salaam. The reason I'm here is I currently pursuing Master of 14 Gender Studies, so I believe this discussion will help me in my understanding in global mental issues. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hear you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Moja kwa moja, we want to start our session. And before that, I want to introduce us for faida of those who are joining us for the first time. So we have Purpose Discovery. That's the name of our ministry. Purpose Discovery is a Christian ministry which has a focus of helping young people to discover the meaning or the purpose of their lives through an intimate relationship with Jesus. And we are achieving that through mental health, active evangelism, and leadership empowerment. So mental health is one of the things we highly promote. Personally, I am a mental health therapist, and I'm going to introduce myself as time goes. So our discussion today will bring both perspective, the psychological, and I'd say the biblical perspective. Our approach is a bit different. I am a trained counselor who went to school to achieve that circular knowledge. I've applied it, I'm applying it. But on the way, I've kept understanding the importance of spirituality, the importance of having faith. I recently was in Mombasa just 2 days ago, I think, for a gathering. And I was so privileged to meet a new friend who is a child development professor from one of the universities in the US. And part of his work, he works with atheists. And I love, he believes in God and he works with atheists. And I loved his unique message, the way he was sharing with us how it has been a different journey to work with them, and how in one or the other, life may get really difficult when we truly don't want to believe in God in one way or the other. So I started with this introduction to help us understand who we are, so that as we go, if you hear Bible or you hear anything, usifikiri umepotea njia. No, you are here listening to this, but that's who we are. Maybe we're having a different approach, but I hope it will bless you and it will add a value to your professional life and to you as an individual as you seek to help yourself and help others. So I'm going to share my screen, and please let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, kindly just type yes on a chat bar to help me know that we are together. If you can see my screen. I have one yes so far. I have a yes from Simon. If you can see my screen.
And another is from me.
Can you see it just?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, well, I am Branley Madati, blessed to work with Cornerstone Development Tanzania. I serve in a capacity of communication officer and organization counselor. Other than that, I lead this team, I lead this ministry. By the grace of God, this year, it's our 9th year. But we had a transition from a small program to a bigger scope of a ministry. So we are thankful to God for the progress. A mental health therapist by profession, holding a bachelor degree of education in guidance and counseling. I was also blessed to be trained with a certificate of lifespan integration. This is one of the very profound methods of healing trauma. Then I received an advanced certificate of trauma healing through Timeline. Then I received another certificate of trauma sensitive peace building from Peace Catalyst International. And I'm a candidate of master's candidate of social work. So tonight we want to discuss about suicide. And most of the time when I teach, I love telling people, or making this joke, that our intention is not to really sound very technical, but our intention is to see how much we can be of help to someone. Yeah, so we want to stay as human beings and see how helpful we can become to other fellow human beings. So according to Emil Durkheim, the term suicide is applied to all cases of death resulting directly or indirectly from positive or negative act of the victim, which she knows will produce this result. Let me say that again. According to Emil Durkheim, the term suicide is applied to all cases of death resulting to direct or indirect from a positive or negative act of the victim. We understand, kwa lugha ya Kiswahili, suicide ni vitendo vyovyote ambavyo mtu anafanya akijaribu kutoa uhai wake. Vitendo vyovyote ambavyo mtu anafanya akijaribu kutoa uhai wake tunaita suicide. I know we'll open it for other people to give their suggestions, and we're going to hear from different perspectives, but at least that is from our end, quoting Emily Durkheim. Again, suicide, taking your own life, is a tragic reaction to stressful life situations, and all the more tragic because suicide can be prevented. Whether you're considering suicide or know someone who feels suicidal, learn suicide warning signs and how to reach out to immediate help and professional treatment, you may save a life, your own or someone else's. So what we're trying to do as Purpose Discovery is basically to rescue one more. The organization I work with, apart from this ministry that I was led to found and lead, there is a program to our sister organization in Uganda. They call it Rescue One More. So through whatever we want to share tonight, we want to help ourselves understand that I'm battling with this. How can I help myself? Probably you have joined here because you're battling with suicide, or probably because you are dealing with young people, you're dealing with children, you're dealing with a group of people where in one way or the other you heard someone saying they want to commit suicide. So we just want to share this overview to help us be able to help ourselves and be able to help others. I will say it more as we go on, but again, these things you may think that they're very like if someone speaks of suicide, you may think they're speaking from a utopia concept or from an imaginary world. But personally, I have encountered this. Personally, I've gone through times where I felt I want to kill myself. I felt life is worthless. So part of the things which I'll be sharing tonight are those things that I experienced as a person, and I'm quite sure they're going to be of help. So every year, 726 people take their own life, and there are many more people who make suicide attempts. Every suicide is a tragedy that affects families, communities, and entire countries, and has long-lasting effect on people left behind. Suicide occurs throughout the lifespan and was the third leading cause of death among 15 to 29 years old globally in 2021. This, what I'm sharing right now, is very recent data from World Health Organization. It was produced on 29th August 2024. So I think tunaweza tukaona kwamba kila mwaka tuna watu wapatao 726,000 ambao wanapoteza uhai wao kwa kujiua. That's very sad. Na as I said, kwa kwanza sisi Purpose Discovery we have a focus on young people, and I'm quite sure yes, kuna watu wazima humu ndani, kuna mama zetu humu ndani, but asilimia kubwa tulioko humu ni vijana. Personally nipo katikati ya hii miaka 15 na 29. You look at my face afu nikadirie mwenyewe. So ni age group according to World Health Organization ambayo imekuwa ikikumbwa sana na kujaribu kuchukua maisha yao. So suicide doesn't just occur in high income countries, but is a global phenomenon in all regions of the world. In fact, close to 3/4, 73% of global suicide occur in low and middle income countries. Hizi ni data za mwaka 2021, lakini zimekuwa produced very recent. Now, again, there may be many factors that we can take a bather, go deep and study why do people in lower and middle income countries commit suicide. But one of the factors I've continued encountering as I grow in my field as a mental health therapist for the past 5-6 years now is sometimes in this part of the world we undermine some things. Someone will say, I feel stressed, and you tell them, how are you an African and you feel stressed? Stresses are not our things, you see. Like, people go through a lot. I've apart from me feeling stressed and feeling like I would want to commit suicide, we have had a family member in our family who took his life. And I think this person, maybe he reached out and he tried to talk to someone, and probably they never wanted to pay an attention because they thought maybe it was dramatic. They thought maybe these are not our things. So that's why we are here sharing to help rescue one's life. Again, more than 720 people die. These are key facts due to suicide every year. Suicide is the third leading cause of death. I've said 73% of suicide occur in low and middle income, I've already said. And again, I want to say the reasons for suicide are multifaceted, influenced by social, cultural, biological, psychological, environmental, I'll talk later, but also spiritual factors across the life cause. For every suicide, there are many more people who attempt suicide. A prior suicide attempt is an important risk factor for suicide in the general population. Now, I want us to take a bit of just a brief understanding of the psychological cause. I'm really not going to go into depth of that. Interestingly, our discussion today may maybe dive more in spirituality than psychology, and I tend to think it's going to be interesting because I deeply believe life is spiritual. So suicidal thoughts have many causes. Most often, suicidal thoughts are a result of feeling like you can't cope when you're faced with what seem to be overwhelming life situation. If you don't have hope for the future, you may mistakenly think suicide is a solution. You may experience a sort of tunnel vision, where in the middle of the crisis, you believe suicide is the only way out. There also may be a genetic link to suicide. People who complete suicide or have suicidal thoughts or behavior are more likely to have family history of suicide. Now, hapa tuende taratibu. Hapa in the psychological causes, if we dive or we dig deep, we realize there are a couple of psychological, we call them mental health illnesses. Like kuna magonjwa kwenye saikolojia tungeita magonjwa ya akili ama changamoto za kisaikolojia kadha wa kadha, which may be the one causing suicide. For example, Jessica here, you trauma informed coach. Mama yetu hapa, I want to be able to mention your name properly. Mariam Max, you said you're a human rights activist and you deal with children and everything. Part of my work for the past 5-6 years has been helping watu wenye trauma. Now, take an example of someone who has been traumatized. I remember one of the cases I solved like 3 years ago, although this young lady who from early childhood to the week I was talking, like the week I had a conversation with her, she has been constantly sexually abused. And in my studies, I came to realize one of the things, for example, people who have dealt with sexual abuse, they can agree with me. One of the things, for example, that sexual abuse causes, if you have been abused like more than one time, like more than 2 times, sexual abuse at some point has a tendency of shutting off someone's brain, and they are not comfortable, but they cannot say no. So this lady was abused at home when she was young. She participated in sports when she was in primary and secondary. She was abused. She says there's a day she went to the hospital. She was to the hospital. The doctor abused her, and she says when she got employed, her boss raped her. Now, looking at this, you may easily say, unajua huku kibongobongo ukisikia story kama hiyo, people watasema huyu mtu naye ni mwepesi. Those are the words that we use because sometimes we're being ignorant, you see. But kiukweli, because they have been constantly facing that, they come to an extent of feeling like maybe this is my lifestyle. I remember again having a conversation with another person who was giving a testimony baada ya kutoka sasa kwenye hali. Anasema she got abused so much kiasi kwamba ikawa ni sehemu ya maisha yake. Akafika kipindi atataka kunywa pombe alewe because anajua anytime men can show up, so anajitahidi tu anywe pombe ili asiwe kwenye conscious yake to let men do what they think she deserves. You see, like the abuse and everything imefika mahali imemfanya azoe ahisi kama ni maisha yake. Now, where have I spoken of abuse? Such a person who has been abused, amekuwa traumatized, isipokuwa healed, at the end of the day, it may lead these people to wanting to commit suicide. Someone may just be depressed because of finances, like very financially broken. You are a father, you have a wife, you have children, you're financially broken. You know, you have to provide, you cannot provide for them. And psychologically, you feel that you are down and there is no hope, you take your life. So there are many, many things. Someone has anxiety, someone has been into just a very psychological tension, and they come to a point where they feel, no, life is meaningless, and they feel like they want to commit suicide. Lakini pia, there is an interesting line here. Oh, sorry, before I go to this, there is an interesting line which reads, the last line of this PowerPoint, it says, there also may be genetic link to suicide. Now, very interesting. People have studied biology and genetics. They may have a narration of this, where you find in this particular family, an elder grandpa committed suicide, and the next one committed suicide, and the next committed suicide. And since it's a discussion, you people who are here and professional biologists, I hope we call them biologists, you'll be able to help us. But from my end, in the brackets, I put spiritual, and I'm going to defend my point. I look at it very spiritual, where you have this person, and they first like one member of their family committed suicide, and it becomes a trend. Like kwenye nchi yetu tumeface, sijajua at least in experience za Tanzania, achana suicide, tole mfano unakuta in the family, bibi alipataga ujauzito akiwa form 2, alafu mama akapata ujauzito akiwa form 2, na wewe unapata ujauzito akiwa form 2. So there is like a pattern following generation and generation. So as much as biology can defend it and they can say there is a genetic link, I agree that there may be the genetic link, but I also look at it as a spiritual attack, and I'm going to give the scripture backup evidence to help us understand deeply. Let me get the yeses on the chat bar if we are together before I go to another segment. Kama tuko pamoja, kama speed yangu iko sawa, amba nakimbia sana, ama let me get the yeses or anything on the chat bar to just be sure. It's a class, so I want to be sure I'm not talking to myself. Someone say tuko pamoja, leader yes, Anisha yes, Nancy yes. Okay. We are 16. If we are together, bring in the yeses before I go on.
All of us, we're supposed to respond. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Just say yes on the chat bar. Chat bar is enough. Yeah, I need to just know that my students are with me if I'm to call myself a teacher. Thank you. So now I want us to take a look of the spiritual side of things. And I'm trying to kukimbia because I want this to be an open discussion at some point. Now, spiritually, as I said, we're a Christian organization. So respectfully, I know maybe you joined us and you're not a Christian. We love you and we are thankful that you have joined, and we will try to be really respectful to your faith, but we want to say what we believe from the Christian or from the biblical point of view. Now, there is an interesting verse in the book of John chapter 10, verse 10. Simon, if you have it, you can help us post on a chat bar as I'm trying to read from my phone. John chapter 10, verse 10. Why do people commit suicide? John chapter 10, verse 10 answers it very well as Simon looks for it. I'm reading from the New Living Translation. The Bible reads, "The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life." Let me read that again. The fifth purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. Kwa Kiswahili maandiko anasema mwivi haji ila aibe, achinje, haribu. Christ says nilikuja ili muwe na uzima na tena muwe nao tele. So as much as there may be psychological reasons, kama trauma, I have been dealing with trauma, and I am glad I was trained to use it, and I was trained to be a trainer. So I can take you into these very psychological trainings which do not have scriptures or anything. And please, I deeply believe there are reasons that are not spiritual at all that cause people to feel like they want to commit suicide. For example, I've just tried. When someone has been deeply traumatized and they find no hope, it's psychologically valid for them to think suicide might help. But again, I deeply believe that life is spiritual. And when we go to a spiritual side of things, the scriptures say, ni nia ya shetani kuua. So I would say every time someone wants to have a thought of killing themselves, it's not an idea from God. The only thing that God tells us is, surely goodness and mercy shall follow you. One of my mentors has been telling me, kitu pekee kinapaswa kikukimbize kila siku, yani ukimbizwe hadi uchanganyikiwe, ni goodness and mercy. Like goodness and mercy is chasing you, and you're like, hey, goodness and mercy, you're here again. Sio suicidal ideations, sio anything depressive, but they happen. This is one of the years that I have battled depression more than any other years, if I'm to confess. And I am a counselor, and I had to look for sessions. And I'm thankful. The counselor who helps me, she's an old lady, 73 years now. We meet virtually from Zoom. Even yesterday, I had a session with her. She also believes in God, so she's always able to to merge the spirituality and the psychology. Now, spiritual causes for desire to commit suicide. Number one, loss of meaning or purpose. So if you want to help yourself or you want to help someone, sometimes people want to take their life because they feel they've lost meaning or they've lost purpose. And that's why we are Purpose Discovery, trying to help people live meaningful life. The scripture says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declared the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you future and hope." So God assures that every life has purpose, and even in the moments of despair, there is a divine plan at work. Suicidal ideations often arise when someone loses sight of this hope and purpose. Kwa mtu akifika mahali haoni mahali anakoenda, ndio abanza kuona kwa nini naishi. And trust me, I've gone through those times where I feel like, jamani, nasema ukweli mbele za Mungu, I've gone through times where I was in a tall building and I felt I want to throw myself. I've gone through those heartbreaks. Rebecca, you're here, where I would see a car and I would want to take myself to the barabara so that the car takes my life. I've gone through those times where I took a knife and I felt like, no, it's too much. Maybe I was battling a guilty and I wanted to take my life. But there's always been a comforting verse in my spirit, because life is deeply spiritual. So the Spirit has been helping me again to feel, no, I still have a better plan for your life, to give you hope and future. Number two, there is what is called the existential crisis. This guy called Solomon is an interesting guy. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 2. After existing and after experiencing every beauty of the word, he came to a point where he said, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. You see, King Solomon in his wisdom wrestled with the meaning of life and the seeming futility of human endeavors. This existential crisis reflects feelings many experienced during dark times, but the book ultimately encourages fear of God and fulfillment in Him. I was so privileged together with Rebecca. We were in Mombasa, as I said a few days ago. And we were with great people, very great people, the professors, some people in politics. I remember this day we had a session with a guy who is a mentor, and he's a mentor to me. He's a member of parliament in the parliament of Uganda. And he was telling us, young people, you may gather everything for yourself. You may try to achieve everything you are trying to achieve. But like if that goal is not clearly defined, there is a day you sit back and feel that everything is meaningless. Solomon had 700 wives and 3 concubines. But at the end of the day, he felt everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And that's why I emphasize spirituality, because when you come to a point in life where you feel everything is meaningless, kama hauko spiritually grounded, it's easier to think killing yourself may solve everything. But if you're spiritually grounded, you understand kuna maisha baada ya kujiua. You understand you're going to give a report after taking your life. Some people make a joke. You go to heaven and you find Mungu hajamaliza kutengeneza nyumba yako, and you'll be like, hey, so what are you doing here? Where are you going to stay? Anyways. Then the third point is spiritual oppression. Guys, these things of the spirit are real. I was just talking to my brother this evening, my cousin, and I was telling him of some things I experienced just last night when I went to bed, and I just felt there were some forces trying to disturb me. And I thank God I have understanding on how to deal with them. People who have done deep psychology studies, I have done a course called abnormal psychology. And within abnormal psychology, there is a concept taught. It is called demonology. But the same demonology concept in abnormal psychology, it is also discussed in theology. I thank to God I went to Bible school as well. So in the past, people would battle. Someone may just be feeling depressed, and when they are taken to people who are dealing with religious affairs, they would say this is a demon. And so they were able to draw a line to help people understand that this may be a demon and this is schizophrenic. People who have studied psychology, you understand what schizophrenia is. It's one of the mental health problems. So I'm trying to build a point here that some people are going through challenges because it's a spiritual oppression. The Bible reads, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the power of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil and heaven realms. So brothers and sisters on this call, as we deal with people, as we help ourselves, let's be reminded that some of the things Satan is trying to attack us. Guys, I deeply recall a night where I had a panic attack. A panic attack is something psychologically justified. I had a serious panic attack, and I didn't know if it's a panic attack until later when I went for a session. There was serious heartbeat. I was just crying. I feel like I want to die. The only thing I was able to do was calling someone, and this person prayed for me, and I felt okay. And later is when I was able to be helped to understand the psychological perspective of what I had. So it's important to understand psychology and counseling, but it's important to merge it with high powers, because at the end of the day, we were all created and there is a high power that we are supposed to respond to. Then one of the things that also people battle is guilt and shame. Many experience suicidal thoughts due to overwhelming guilt or shame. Scripture reassures that through confession and faith, God offers forgiveness. As a counselor, I've dealt with those. You're a young man, you believe in sexual purity, you have been swearing that over my dead body, I will never kiss a girl. And the day comes, you kiss that girl. I'm saying maybe it's not for you, it's for the young people you help. And you feel like, I'm doomed. Destruction is my portion. So that guilt kills you. I've dealt with such people with experience. Number 5, unresolved grief or trauma. I explained about trauma. And the Bible reads, the Lord is close to brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. God promises comfort to those who are grieving or suffering. Suicidal ideations may emerge when one feels abandoned or spiritually distanced. One of the things that trauma does, spiritual, I did a spiritual side of trauma. Trauma causes you to ask yourself, where is God? So unresolved trauma makes you feel there's no God. When you're grieving, you have lost someone close. I lost my uncle last year on a terrible tricycle accident. And humanly, this question, God, he's a young man. He has family, he has 3 kids. Why did you take him? So again, when you're battling with grief and it's unsolved and trauma is unsolved, it might push you to thinking there is no God, there's no good, and you take your life. Then there is religious perfectionism. And when you feel spiritually isolated, you can commit suicide. Let me know if we are together before I dive into symptoms. I'm really trying to run ili nifungue for all of us. Kama unaelewa, please type a yes on the chat bar. I'm simply trying to be a kind teacher, making sure this class is paying attention. We are 16, so I expect the 16 yeses on the chat bar. Let's type in the yeses. If you're getting it, if you are not, you can say no from here. Nisikuchanganye. I would appreciate if we can note questions so that we ask them later. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the yeses. Now, I want to go to symptoms ili tuweze kuelewa tukiwa tuna battle sisi wenyewe ama tukiwa tuna watu wana battle. The scriptures say the devil is like a rolling lion looking for someone to devour. So kama wewe hujabattle suicidal ideations, maybe there's a day you may battle. So pay attention to this. Some of the symptoms, suicide warning signs or suicidal thoughts include, number 1, talking about suicide. For example, making statements such as, I'm going to kill myself, or I wish I were dead, or I wish I hadn't been born. Dear friend, if you are around a person and you hear them mentioning such statements, I encourage you not always to take them for granted. Don't. I think because of being a counselor, I have learned to be careful with these minor details. I'm a counselor, but I also have life going on. So sometimes we make jokes with friends, but like, I always love to be careful when someone makes a joke around such statements. Maybe I'm going to kill myself. I wish I were dead. I wish I hadn't been born. In most cases, hakunaga utani wa namna hiyo, ila ni utani ulioambatana na ukweli uliojificha. So let's take a note of that and see how we can be helpful. Number 2, getting the means to take your own life, such as buying a gun or stockpiling pills. Unanunua bunduki, Rebecca, unaifanyia nini? For example, if I'm to ask you, Rebecca, leader, Simon, what are you doing with bunduki? Okay, fine. I know people may have justifiable reasons to buy a gun or something. Yeah, but some people buy kwa sababu they know they are going through something and they're just waiting for that day. Rebecca is saying ulinzi shirikisho. Unalinda what? Protecting what? Which? When? So sadly speaking, it may not be easy to observe kama mtu amenunua silaha akaificha ndani, but that's one of the sign. And this action movie we are watching, they're meant to also inform us. A couple of times I watched an action movie, someone got themselves a gun, wakai keeps them. There's a movie I watched, it's called Kingdom What? Very dramatic movie by Terry Perry. This guy kept bastola ndani and was just counting. Anajaribu kuaccumulate mawazo. Committing suicide is by the way, I have remembered this story, a very true story, which Rebecca, for people who've just come, have joined us for the first time, Rebecca is my schoolmate. Like some of us, or most of us here are schoolmates. We went to the same school. And actually, this ministry started when we were high school students, and God gave us the grace to push it this further. So this comes this day when I was in high school, actually with a guy who is the co-founder of this ministry. I was battling guilty. It's kind of a fun story. And I took pills. I think it was paracetamol. I took pills in a good number. I was battling guilty, a serious guilty. And I felt like I wanted to take my life. But I'm telling you, suicide inachukuaga muda, ni ngumu sana mara nyingi someone to decide to kill themselves there and then. So I would look at the pills and I would like, kweli naacha kula ugali, kula mlenda and everything. So I went crying to Ben, like, Ben, I want to die. And I was showing him the pills. And so Ben akachukua the pills and he was disappointed. He cried. He's like, why have you gotten yourself this extent? And later a friend of us made a joke. He was like, haukuwa serious kufa. Mtu anayetakaga kufa waga haagi. But there are people who show these things and they mean it. Another thing is withdrawing from social contact and wanting to be left alone. Please, let's keep checking our friends. If they're trying to really get far from your company, find out what is happening in their lives. Kuna watu, they're trying to stay far because they're battling a lot. Having mood swings, such as being emotionally high one day and deeply discouraged the next. Being preoccupied with death, dying of violence, feeling trapped or hopeless about a situation. All this may be symptoms that someone is battling suicide. Increased use of alcohol or drugs, changing normal routines, including eating or sleeping patterns, doing risk or self-destructive things such as using drugs or driving recklessly. I know people who drive because they are determined about dying and wanajaribu kujaribu kuona kama it's going to work. Saying goodbye to people as if they won't see you, as if they won't be seen again. Yeah, this point I've been helped to understand by a friend. You know, there's a time you feel very depressed and you're saying bye to your friends in a way like, I don't know if I'll see tomorrow, because you kind of feel like you may do anything with your life. So ukiona hizi line, someone anakuaga with so much passion and you're just in the same city, kuwa makini. A parent saying bye to you, son, and in a line that is just very confusing, contradictorily, be carefully. Developing personality changes, warning signs. Okay, actually this last point shouldn't be taken as a point. It's warning signs aren't always obvious and they may vary from person to person. Some people may make their intentions clear while other people keep suicidal thoughts and feelings secret. Kwa kuna watu wengine wanakaa nazo. That's why I embrace spirituality, because I've dealt with people that they never said, but I was able to discern kwamba huyu mtu is battling something, and when I engage them in a conversation, they were able to share. Now we're going to the last part here: prevention, control, and help, before I open the conversation. But let me get the yeses if kwenye symptom tumeelewana, and as you collect your questions for the open discussion. If umeelewa kwenye symptoms, umepata kitu. Unaweza kama hujaelewa kila kitu ila umepata kitu. Please type in a yes. Type in a yes if you understood symptom. Thank you for the yeses that are coming. Thank you. Thank you for the yeses. As we thank you good people. Well, now I'm encouraged to go to the next segment, which is prevention and control. Now, I will start with prevention as advised by World Health Organization. And I'll come to the spiritual side and the life reality. There are several measures that can be taken at population, subpopulation, and individual level to prevent suicide and self-harm. Live Life, WHO's initiative for suicide prevention, recommend the following key effective evidence-based interventions. Remember, WHO, while they research their things, they come with vitu ambavyo wamevifanyia tafiti. Wana initiative inaitwa Live Life. It's a WHO initiative kwa ajili ya suicide prevention, and wamesuggest yafuatayo. Number one, they've suggested to limit access to means of suicide like pesticides, firearms, and certain medications. Kwa mfano, kuna medication mtu ukiulizia tu dukani, it's usually known that kuna namna zimekuwa zina history ya kutumika to take people's life. So when we deal, if there's anyone with a background in social work or sociology, kuna hizi 3 levels of operation. Kuna the macro, kuna the meso and the micro levels of intervention. So kwa mfano tukisema limit access to means of suicide, you as an individual, you may not really be able to limit access, but you may be here on this call and there's a way upo kwenye a macro level of operation where you have power to convince some stakeholders to make sure wana control supply ya pesticide, firearms and medication. Kwa mfano, kuna even today someone shared, kuna form serikali na kudimandi ujaze kama wewe unamiliki silaha umndani, you understand that owning a gun in our country isn't buying tomatoes, isn't like buying an onion. So kuna measure tu za kuregulate kwa sababu unajua if someone is going to buy a gun, there must be a good reason. So you are trying to make sure firearms si kitu ambacho ni rahisi kukipata kwa sababu some people may get and use against it. Then number 2, interact with the media for responsible reporting of suicide. Now, I've shared a spiritual perspective and I'll continue sharing even in the next slide, a spiritual perspective of prevention, but people of the spirit who are on this call. Mtu asikwambia nataka commit suicide ukaishia kusema maybe that's a demon, I'm rebuking that demon. No. If there are suicide prevention measures, like if there is a media to report suicide, by the way, if you are a counselor on this call, tunasisitizwa to keep secrets except for 2 things, suicide or homicide. When someone wants to kill themselves or want to harm other people, we are allowed to break that secret. So in case you see a sign that this person is wanting to commit suicide, please report, because you are showing love by rescuing their life. Then again, we encourage people to foster, this WHO encouraging to foster social emotional life skills in adolescents and early life identity access, manage and follow up anyone who is affected by suicidal behavior. As purpose discovery, we are doing it so much in both psychological. Rebecca is who I've been mentioning, she's the head of the mentorship and counseling department. Just try to foster social emotional life skills. They are necessary skills. If we have, we will be able to adjust to situations. This professor that I met these few days in Mombasa taught me something very profound, that sometimes what you are dealing with is not a depression, it's a human situation that you feel sad and you run to buy an antidepressant, which is unnecessary. So sometimes part of the work I've been doing is trying to build resilience to young people, that some situations do not need a counselor, some situations do not need an antidepressant, they just need you to build your resilience to know how to adapt situations. So that's, if you're in a capacity on this call, you are working with the government, you're working with the private organization, there's a way you need to bring to awareness that there is a need to share skills to help young people be equipped. This thing happening in our culture nowadays is good and not good. I have a video I recently did. I was in Rwanda again like a month ago, and I did a podcast on mental health. I may share the link so that you watch. Like this thing I'm facing nowadays, in the education sector, someone misbehaves, a young person, they're like, my mental health matters. You are at work, you're underperforming, and you're like, my mental health matters. No. Things are not supposed to be like that. And if you confront someone, some people, they may tell you, ukiendea kunitishia ndajiua. Now, hatupasi kutengeneza kizazi cha watu ambao wanafikiria kujiua ndo solution. As much as we love them, as much as we pray shetani asiwataki, we need also to plant a seed in them to have these skills to be resilient, to build a responsible men and women who can take care of situations. Then this need going hand in hand with following foundational pillars. which is situational analysis, multisectoral collaboration, awareness raising, capacity building, financing, surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation. This works at a macro level for people like Purpose Discovery who are having an organization, for people like Jessica Beatus, you're running with Thrive Africa, Mama Mariam Max. Like, kama mpo kwenye hizo levels za macro operation, you may see how to propose situational analysis, how to do multisectoral collaboration, how to raise awareness. Something like raising awareness, haitaji mwe mna millions of money, haitaji we company. Purpose Discovery, we are not a big thing, but we are here raising awareness. We are building capacities. Every Saturday, I meet a group of 9 counselors. We do training to them. We build capacity so that they are able to help others. So these are recommendations of this organization. Now, I want to give these quick recommendations. Then I open for questions and reflection. Preventing and addressing suicidal ideation, especially from spiritual and biblical perspective, involves offering practical help, emotional support, and spiritual guidance. Here are approaches for prevention, control, and help for victims of suicidal ideations, backed up both by biblical principles and practical action steps. Number 1, kwenye prevention, level of prevention, we say it's building resilience and offering hope. At the level of prevention, we believe this thing hasn't happened yet. So we are kind of preparing our community to know such may happen. So let them be aware, let them be enough protected and prepared before it happens. Because even Jesus in John 16:33 says, I'm telling you so that you may have hope. In the world, you'll have troubles. In the world, you go through times where you feel like you want to commit suicide, but have hope in me. I've overcome the world. Okay. So number 1, encourage a relationship with God. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Wasome wenzangu mlioko ndani. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. As much as you can debate professionally. Nataka ufanye tafiti zako, utagundua kuna psychologists, kuna counselors wamejiua. That's why we as Purpose Discovery, we don't want to just embrace psychology. I love to say psychology by itself is empty. There is always high power than psychology. So katika level of prevention, we as Purpose Discovery, we are trying to build a community of people who learn to respect and relate with God. Because the Bible reads that we should not lean on our own understanding, but we should confess him in all our ways. It's very sad that watu walitoka kwenye familia, hasa in the African context. I'm sure most of the people joining this call are Africans, maybe Tanzanians. We have grown in a setting where we know God, but it's crazy that the more we study things of the world, we think things of God do not matter. I'm sorry, na mimi ni msomi kama nyie, maybe sijasoma sana. But with the level of education I have, maybe the exposure of traveling different countries in the world, I still think spirituality is equally important. So people who are here, I'm encouraging you to know God at a personal level and to build a resilient community of people who honor God. Fostering a strong personal relationship with God can help individuals anchor themselves in faith and trust. Encouraging prayers, reading the Bible, and cultivating a spiritual life helps to build resilience. Again, if you're joining us just now, we said first, we are a Christian initiative. We embrace psychology, but we deeply embrace spirituality as well. So number 2, build a supportive community. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. Carry each other's burden. In this way, you fulfill the law of Christ. One of the things we do as Purpose Discovery, every last Friday of the month, we have what we call life group sleepover nights, where young people come. We just spend a night to think together, to pray together, to probably eat together or drink together, just building a supportive community. A supportive community can offer encouragement, accountability, and help prevent isolation, which is a key risk factor for suicidal ideation. Where I am right now, it's a place we're renting in Arusha. Jessica and some of you guys have been here. It's a place where we call it a mentorship hub. It's open for young people to come and feel that they want to be helped. Like, I remember again when I traveled a few days ago, a young man looked for me. He was like, I would love to come to that place. Do you have any program? I said, no, we don't have. I'm not around, but you find some people. Go and spend some time. As I'm talking here, tomorrow we'll have a group of 3 young people again coming to spend like their weekend from tomorrow towards the weekend. They just want to be around to a community which appreciates them, supports them, and encourage them. So guys, as much as we can be psychological, some of these things are healed by belonging to a community and not consuming antidepressant pills. Then we have promote mental health and emotional well-being. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2, dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Maintaining a balanced health lifestyle that incorporates mental, emotional, and physical well-being is crucial. Teaching self-care, counseling, and encouraging individuals to express their emotion in healthy ways can prevent them from reaching to a point of despair. So people of faith who are here, don't just pray for people, encourage wellness. I'm in a challenge, a crazy challenge, Rebecca knows. I'm in a diet challenge where I'm avoiding some foods. It's just meant to help me. Kuna muda una consume vyakula afu unajaa, unaanza kujichukia mwenyewe. So the church may not necessarily tell you abstain from drinking soda, but a community like this, sisi tunapenda kuencourage watu. Mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness, do exercise. All that contributes to a wholesome growth, to a holistic growth. Na itakusaidia usianze kujihisi unajichukia ujiue. Kumbe tu ulitakiwa uache kula baadhi ya vyakula, uwe kwenye ile body size unayoitaka, usipate unnecessary stress. So I think maisha sio magumu hivyo. Ngoja nikimbili nikaribishe. So control is addressing the crisis and managing suicidal thoughts. Kwenye control we have 3 things. 1, encourage open communication. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. Individuals dealing with suicidal thoughts often feel alone or afraid to share their pain. Encourage open communication and creating safe space for confession. Sharing burdens and prayer helps alleviate the feelings of isolation and despair. Number 2, use prayers and scripture for strength. Psalms chapter 55 verse 22, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Praying with and for individual while sharing scripture that reassures them God's sustenance grace can provide comfort and help refocus their thoughts on God's promise. Number C, identify and remove risk factors. Chapter 22 of the book of Proverbs, verse 3, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Identifying triggers such as stressful situation, negative environment, or access harmful substance, and removing or managing this factor can help control and reduce suicidal thoughts. Wenye hekima wakiona hatari wanaona namna ya kuiepuka, lakini wasio na hekima wanaendelea mbele. Kwa ukishaanza kuona kuna ishara, viashirio, inabidi uone namna kurudi nyuma and to work on it. Then the last 4 now is help. With help, we have providing long-term healing and restoration. One thing I want you guys to know, sometimes this healing doesn't come instantly. So kuna muda inabidi umvumilie mtu. Atakwambia leo anajisikia kujiua na kesho kutwa. You need to be patient and be there to listen, to hear them out. So number 1, offer emotional support and counseling. The scriptures say, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Offering empathetic and non-judgmental support is crucial for healing. Professional counseling from trained Christian counselor or therapists can provide individuals with tools to navigate their emotion and struggles. Mental health support combined with spiritual guidance will also provide holistic healing. Number 2, encourage forgiveness and grace. By the way, I know I will share with I think in one of our sleepovers, maybe next month, we want to focus on forgiveness. People are battling a lot of garbage, like you're holding things. Someone offended you and they deeply offended you and you feel like you can never forgive them. Let me tell you a quick example. Again, Rebecca will bear me witness because it was part of what we are learning in Mombasa. You forgive me for quoting Mombasa so much. It's because it's a listened program I attended. So this lady tukawa tunapewa story ya kweli of this lady ambaye had to witness. Okay, kitu cha kwanza kilitokea, the husband was tied. This is a conflict that happened in Balkan countries. The husband was tied to witness mke wake akiwa raped na wanajeshi wanne. Then mwanamke akawa tied to witness wakimuua mme wake na watoto wake. So now this lady steps out to share, yeye hakuuliwa, to share his healing, her healing journey, how she was able to find a place to forgive these people who did her wrong. And that's why we say, as much as we may debate about theories, guys, there is a place tunahitaji msaada wa Mungu. How possible on earth uone watu walikubaka wanajeshi, wakamuua mme wako, wakaua watoto wako, and today you stand out and you say nimewasamehe? It only takes God. It only takes God to forgive. Then again, encourage people to reconnect with purpose. Helping individuals discover a sense of purpose can prevent further despair. Encourage them to engage in meaningful activities, serve in ministries, find ways to use their gift. Moja ya vitu mimi vimenisaidia niwe mkweli na nyie. This webinar is free. Maybe you have learned. I took time to prepare, to read. I love doing this. I'm adding value to my society, but it is also helping me. Every time I do this, we have 17 participants today. I love that today I was able to talk to 17 people. I touched their life. Hata kama nilikuwa na depression fulani, whenever I have an opportunity to plant a seed to someone's life, it gives me more energy. When I traveled to Rwanda, I gave a talk on mental health. I was called to a media house and I did a podcast. And just the other day, it was shared. There is joy unaipata ukifeel una reconnect to a purpose. So if you are here, you're a mentor helping someone, train them to connect to a purpose. Then the last point, support through fellowship and mentorship. And again, if you have joined us for the first time, Purpose Discovery has a mentorship and counseling desk for high school students and university students. It's for free. We just want to help young people overcome these challenges. So if you feel you have a challenge, or there is a way you want to contribute, or there's a way you want to support this program growing, you can reach me out, or Simon or Rebecca, because we believe that there is so much power in fellowship and mentorship. Some problems are just solved by sitting down with an old man and sharing with him, or an old lady and sharing with her what is bothering you. And lastly, I want to give you a story of this starfish, the starfish and this boy. An old man was doing his daily walk along the beach one morning, where he spotted a young boy crouched by the water, scooping something up from the sand and throwing into the sea. The beach was normally empty at this time of the day, so the old man stopped to watch for a while. He noticed that the boy kept on shuffling a little further down the beach, then repeating this same action again and again. Stopping, scooping, throwing, moving. "What are you doing there, boy?" the old man asked, walking closer. And this boy responded, "I am saving the starfish that are stranded," replied the boy. "If they stay on the beach, they will dry out and die. So I'm putting them back into the ocean so they can live." The old man was silent for a few seconds. "Young man," he said, "on this stretch of the beach alone, there must be more than 100 stranded starfish around the next corner. There must be at least 1,000 more. This goes on far miles and miles and miles. I've done this work every day for 10 years and it's always the same. There must be millions of stranded starfish. I hate to say it, but you'll never make a difference." The boy replied, "Well, I just made a difference for that one," and continued with his work. Ladies and gentlemen, our desire as Purpose Discovery is probably not to be the most famous organization, ministers call it. Our desire is to cause change to one person. This webinar tonight was meant to bring healing to someone, was meant to encourage you. Maybe you're mentoring someone and they feel like they want to commit suicide. They feel life is meaningless. Continue helping them. Maybe you're only helping one person. All that Noah had was 8 people, but he was able to do them justice to the extent that his family was the only rescued family when God was going to cause whatever happened. You understand the story of Noah, to allow the rain to the rest of the community. So I'm encouraging you, jisaidie mwenyewe, seek help, lakini pia endelea kumsaidia huyo mtu mmoja. There will always be challenges, criticism, but you are making a difference by helping one person. And I would love to conclude by saying, let's not take life very serious. I love the words of Brother Joram Nkumbi. Tusiachukulie maisha usirias sana. Kunywa sharubati, cheza mpira, furahia, angalia movie. Yes, there is time for everything. My day has been a bit busy today. After having my dinner, I think I want to watch some movie before I go to bed. Movie now makes sense. I'm also very sensitive on what I watch, but kuna watu, they simply are getting stressed and they want to kill themselves because of thinking that maisha ni serious sana. No. Go for hiking. Jana jioni I went for cycling, took my bicycle and went there. Nilikoenda, there are minor things that are even not spiritual. Tembelea watu, nenda kale nao pilau. Don't be very serious with your life. Alika watu kwako, kunywa nao chai. Some of these challenges alongside prayers are solved by just being humans. God bless you so much. Thank you for listening. I want to take the microphone back to Simon. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much Kaka Branley for sharing, and natumai kuna kitu umekipata kikubwa sana from the talk, regardless of the time, but the topic was very interesting. And as Kaka Branley was sharing, I was thinking that maybe we should do this maybe every after a month or 2 months. It should not be once per year. So God bless you so much, Brother Branley. And we are sorry for the time. We took a little bit of your time, but I would love to welcome maybe 1 or 2 questions or comment before we wind up our session. And if you have a question, you can just raise your hand. You can just raise your hand, and you can be free to ask, whether in English or Swahili. It's okay. With the permission of Brother Branley, I think it's okay. Yeah. So you can ask in Swahili or English, whatever the language you'll use. And I'll share the link on the chat. That's a link to our WhatsApp group. You can join the group and we'll have many things to discuss and share with you. Mariam Max, you're welcome. You can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. It was really, really, really amazing. And thank you for the chance to be here. I don't have much to say. All I have to say is I definitely would like to join forces with you and work with you in areas of teaching yoga and mindfulness. I can send you something on the chat just to give you an idea what yoga is, because a lot of people think yoga is all about religion. No, yoga has nothing to do with religion. Yoga is really finding yourself through movement and breath. So I'll send something for everyone to see, but my offer rather is I wanted to see whether I can help in any way in the area of youth, teaching them resilience and mindfulness and all these things that are positive to build up their resilience. So I was just wondering if there's a possibility we could work together. I would be happy to offer my services for free to a group of youth or whatever you have in mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariam. It's such an encouragement to hear from you. Thank you. We are glad that the class was relevant to you. sometimes it's hard to talk to professionals. I know you've been in maybe this career in one way or the other. Yeah, so I'll share my contacts on the chat bar.
Yes,
And
thank you.
I'll share openly because I know there are also other people joining us for the first time. We'd love to have a conversation with you and see how we can join forces to bring more healing to the young people that we are supposed to help.
And thank you. I'll welcome Jessica Beatus and then Robert Makungu. Jessica, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you very much, Branley, for sharing us the insightful tips and tricks based on suicide issues. So on my side, I just wanted to add up something. As Branley said, sometimes people want to share, but the problem is that there is no safe space for them to share. For example, I can just share this day I shared with a friend. No, it was on my WhatsApp status. I just shared that if people can be given spaces for them to share, it will help them to heal from their challenges, from their traumas and all that. But a friend inboxed me and asked me, to who exactly do I share? What does it mean by a safe space? Because according to her, she said she doesn't believe in safe space as the world now has changed. Like there's no one to trust. You may feel like this is a safe space you can share with a friend. For me, maybe to get help, but instead that may be used against you, or it may be used as something to what can I say? Someone may use it as a way to gossip and judge you. So a lot of people feel like there's no safe space. Like it's better they can stay with their things inside of them, and then whatever will happen, it will happen. So I would like to encourage all of us here, like to be or to ensure that we are a safe space to someone. If someone trusts you and shares their challenges, if they are going through something, if you can't help them, I advise you to recommend them to the right person instead of just accepting and listening to their stories and challenges, and instead of you being a safe space to them, you just make it worse. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Jessica, thank you so much for your comment. I also want to underscore that let's learn as much as we can to be a safe space to another person. Train yourself. I make a joke with people. I tell them I'm an extrovert, more of a sanguine. One of the profound nature of people of my character. Sir Robert is a psychologist and is here. He may agree with me. Talkative and mafriji yao hayagandishi. Sanguines, their fridges cannot gandisha things. But I trained myself. You know, there is a time someone shares something. Like on this call, I may be knowing deep secrets of people. And humanly, there is something easy kukuwasha. And you are like, hivi nyie mnajua kwamba Simoni ana watoto wawili huko mtaani? It's a human thing. Like you kind of feel like I want to say it. But I trained myself over and over kiasi kwamba I'll die with someone's secret. Okay, I won't die, but there's no way I'm going to share someone's secret. So we train ourselves. And in the same way, I'll tell you, be that safe space. Be that person. Rebecca's hand is up. I want to give an example of Rebecca. Rebecca is not a professional counselor. She's a professional project manager, but she's the one heading the mentorship and counseling department of our ministry. She has earned the trust ya watu kwa sababu friji lake linagandisha. 1, 2, she's in judgmental. She will just invite and receive people the way they are. So one of the things I've profoundly learned on mental health, ama maisha kwa ujumla, there is always an opportunity to learn, unlearn and relearn. Kwa hiyo nataka kukuencourage wewe kwanza uliyeshiriki call, be a safe space. Jifunze kuwa friji inalogandisha. Be a safe space to someone. Lakini 2, tuwasaidie watu kujua safe space zipo. Sometimes thinking that there is no a safe space ni pride. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm saying that with confidence. And kuna watu wanaamini dunia hii hamna anayeelewa. Kuna mtu nilikuwa namkansa akaniambia, Bradley, mimi na majaribu kuliko Ayubu. Nikasema counselors tunapitia shida nyingi. Una majaribu kuliko Ayubu, like there are clients who exaggerate what is happening on their lives. So let's also help them to know there is a safe space. Mfano wa mwisho, there is a young man now I'm mentoring. I know I'm a young man, but there are young men than me. I recommended awe mentored na mtu mwingine. Akakataa. Akasema, I'm ready to be mentored, but I want you to mentor me. So duniani hapa there is always a safe space somewhere. Yep. So thank you. Simon, naona Ahmed's hand is up, then Rebecca. Oh yeah, Sir Robert, your hand was up, then Ahmed, then tutamaliza na Rebecca. Yeah, Director Simon has allowed me. Yes, Sir Robert, how is Norway? And please say what is in your mind. I hope you're in Norway.
Yes, thank you, Brandley. Of course, still I'm in Norway. I'll be here for some time. Still working also in the issues of concerning mental health and so on. I know we were together in this. So still we are preaching this. I'm very honored that, of course, I was late a bit, but always being honored because when I get to your sessions, I always get the spiritual aspect that is very relevant, especially in our life. You know, our life is full of spirit. No matter that you are either you are an intellectual or whatever that you think, but life is full of spirit, because is where there is spirit, that means there is faith, and actually people are living in faith. So even people who are committing suicide is also part of issues of faith and so on. So that's something number one that I say. But the other issue that I would have to say, you've promptly and said it very quickly, that is, you have to be the reason for why a person should live. You know, most of people, when you find especially for men, people are dying because of others. That is, I'll give an example. That is, I might commit suicide just because I said something to Brandley, and Brandley often didn't manage to keep what I have said. So, you know, when I'm telling you about something that is very important for me, you can see it, maybe it is quite simple from you, but it means a lot to somebody life. So let's keep secret about others, no matter how you see something is very small, or you can take it is very cheaper. Let's keep secret, because that's a worth of a person. So if you take it out, that means it's like somebody had a clothes and you have taken it off, and you don't know the side effect that socially, spiritually, that a person gets. So let's be the reason for why a person should live. But secondly, let's listen to people. Sometimes you may listen to somebody and you don't have a solution. You see something is very big to you, but as far as a person has come to you and saying about something, give him or her a chance to speak. Just keep your ears there and listen and listen and listen, even if you don't understand. But just the fact that you are listening to somebody, it is giving a certain kind of heal. Again, the cases of suicide are much, especially to men, because we stay with a lot of things. We think that because we are men, we can't say anything. Because we are men, we handle each and everything. That is totally wrong. And actually, we think that women, because they speak, they are too weak. That is totally wrong. So I encourage also men to speak and speak and speak out. And if he may go to even a certain lady and speak out. Please, ladies, listen and keep it as if you didn't hear about. Just keep listening. The strongly word that I can say is be a reason for a person to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Robert. Thank you for your profound thoughts. Mungu akubariki sana. Yeah. Actually, when I was sharing a thought, I just remembered one of the things I want to like kind of remind us. Let's be watchful na maneno we tell people. Like if something is not your business, just leave it. A disclaimer: I'm not saying just because I am mnene. What is mnene in English? For example, I came to learn. You just don't walk over someone.
You are fat. You are fat.
You are fat yourself, Jessica. You just don't face someone and tell them, "Hey, umenenepa." You see, like I remember some years ago. So mimi ni mnene kwa asili, ila unene wangu unaendaga hivi. Kuna kipindi naongezeka, kuna kipindi napungua. So I was at the academy, met this lady and she told me, alikuwa anaita daddy, umenenepa, umekuwa mbaya. Kuna mdada atakukubali kweli? So I was mad in me na nikataka kulipiza mashambulizi, nikamwambia umekonda kiasi kwamba mwanaume atakaye kuoa atakuwa amekufanyia sponsorship. I wasn't a counselor at that time. Please, mnisamee, I wasn't a counselor. But that thing broke that lady. Unajua mimi niliongea kawaida, mwambia mdada watu mwanaume atakaye kuoa atakuwa amekusponsor tu, yani unajua sponsor amekuhurumia. And that was very heartbreaking. So hata ukiwa unataka kumfikia mtu kwa ushauri, tafuta lugha nzuri. Yani usifikiri unamjua sana. Haya mambo ya madatu unaoa lini? Guys, nitaoa Jumamosi ama Jumapili. It's not your business. It's not your business. So as much as you think you know someone, be kind enough to them. They are battling sometimes. Wengine tukinarate breakup zetu hapa, afu kaja ukaniambia tena unaoa lini? You're trying to add again chumvi kwenye kidonda. So you even had kuna mtu alimuua mtu kwa sababu tu ya swali la unaoa lini. So let's be careful with that. Kaka Ahmed, karibu to say your thought, then Rebecca, na nitatoa nafasi ya upendeleo kwa Shaban, and probably one last chance kwa watu atakayetaka kuongea, afu ndarudisha kwa Simon afunge. Let's be a bit brief. Kuna masingo wanaenda kupika sasa hivi, so tuwahurumie. Kaka Ahmed, karibu, niliona mkono wako huko juu. Okay. I hope ninasikika. Isije kama mimi ndo nimefreeze afu naona mwingine amefreeze. Zoom can deceive sometimes. Oh, okay. Ni mtandao wake unasumbua. Rebecca, karibu. Maybe Ahmed will talk when he comes back.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you for what you shared na kwa wengine wote ambao wamechangia. These things are really important. Yani kuna vitu tunaweza kuviangalia from afar, especially this thing of suicide. Tunaweza kuiangalia kwa mbali sana kwenye jamii, lakini ni vitu tunazunguka navyo kila sehemu. Na katika miaka michache nilioishi hapa duniani, moja ya lesson kubwa nimejifunzaga ni just never say never. Anything can happen to anybody. Yani kuna vitu unaweza ukafikiria they will never happen to you or they will never happen to somebody, lakini circumstances zikafanya vitu vitokea ambavyo we never thought they would happen. So I just wanted to strengthen hapo. Let's be the safe space for people, and I want to add pins kwenye kitu alichokiongelea Brandy. Kuna vitu ni vidogo alafu ni virahisi kuvifanya, lakini vinaweza vinaweza vikaleta madhara makubwa. I'll give an example. Kwenye hii issue ya kuuliza watu maswali ambayo hayawahusu. I have a new means siku hizi naponda watu mawe. Dare ask me stupid questions. I'll just throw stones at you. Anyway, I'm joking. But then someone asked a woman, you are such a beautiful girl. It's been 10 years since you were married. Mbona uzai? Mnatuletea lini watoto? You just want to stay in shape and whatnot. Mnaona kuzaa sio fashion. While huyu dada alikuwa yuko depressed, struggle. She has had like 4 miscarriages. She's been praying and finding means za kubeba ujauzito na kujifungua mtoto for the last 10 years na hajaweza. And then an individual comes na kuuliza swali la namna hiyo. To this person could be a simple question, lakini unaweza ukajikuta you are the reason someone decides to take their life. Tu kwa sababu uliuliza maswali ambayo hayakuhusu. In today's generation, just usiingie kwenye businesses za watu unless they invite you in. Don't ask these questions. You'll ask someone, when are you getting married? Hauoni unaolea, hauoni miaka inaenda. You don't know this person anasugua goti kila siku anamuomba Mungu apate mke au apate mume. Au ametoka kwenye major breakup ambayo bado haja heal. So you asking that inaweza ikawa kama unagongelea msumari. You ask someone about children. Just let's learn to mind our own businesses. Lakini pia tuwe ambassadors kwa wengine. To share, tuambie watu. Let's create hiyo safe society as well. Usikae na knowledge peke yako. I have 2 scenarios za suicide ambazo they taught me a lesson. Na among people ambao nilikuwa naiangalia issue ya suicide from a distance. Yani sikuwa naona kama ni kitu kinaweza kikatokea hapa karibu au ni kitu kinaweza kikatokea kwa watu wangu wa karibu. In fact, mtu akisema anataka kujiua, naona tu ni mtu hayuko serious. I remember even when I had a scenario ya Branley back then, I was like, huyu alikuwa tu anataka attention au njaa. Zingine hizi ni njaa tu, mtu apewe msosi ale maisha yaendelee. But then it's until something like that comes close to home, you get to understand, hizi vitu kumbe zinatokea. Niliwahi kuona suicide attempt ya mdogo wangu. It was a stupid one. Kakutwa huko na kiboyfriend chake na babu akamfumua yeye na boyfriend wake, and then karudi nyumbani na hasira, kapigwa na nini, akachukua dawa nyingi akanywa. Bahati nzuri bibi huyo alikuwaga ni nesi, so aliona dawa alizokunywa. Mimi niliogopa because like I literally saw her taking in the meds na zilikuwa ni dawa nyingi. But kumbe dawa alizozikunywa zilikuwa ni mseto. Those of you who know mseto. Amefungua pakiti 2 za mseto wa mtu mzima akanywa. Of course she was serious about taking her life. But then bibi being a nurse alikuwa anafahamu kwamba mseto hauwezi kumuua mtu, yani mtu huwezi ukafa kwa kunywa mseto, but they'll go through hell. So mdogo drunk akaenda kulala, vya kulala vikashindikana, akawa anaumwa tumbo, anatapika na anatoa mapovu mdomoni. Baadaye sisi sasa we are stressed out, we are seeing it, tunamfuata bibi, we are crying, we are a number of young I was a kid by then. Tulikuwa a number of us pale tunamfuata bibi amsaidie mdogo. Bibi anasema mwacheni kwanza, ataipata fresh. Later on she asked for milk, ndo bibi akampa maziwa and all, akawa amepona. Later on, looking back to this scenario, nikawaza bibi asingekuwa nurse, alafu the meds ambazo huyo alikunywa zingekuwa zenyewe, yani sio mseto angekuwa amekunywa, because she was serious about killing herself. Na sasa mara nyingi kuna ile hasira ya mzazi kwamba unahisi you can threaten me or what not, taking things for granted, and then someone loses their life. Now the most recent experience is someone called me at night and they want to take they had suicidal thoughts, they wanted to take their lives hivyo, alafu she called me. Niliogopa. I didn't know what to tell this person. I didn't know how to convince them not to die. Unajua at a point unatakiwa umconvince mtu asijiue, umpe reasons za kuwa alive. And this person has traumas. This person akikusimulia story yake, sometimes you might feel like if I was in her shoes, maybe mimi nisingekuwepo yani mpaka sasa hivi. But then we are meant to be ambassadors of light. And I thank God, by the grace of God, I talked to this person. We prayed together, met her the next day. And like I would see there's light kwenye maisha yake again and improve. So let's not take this for granted. Sometimes it's easy to say wewe unajua kujiua wewe. Wanaojiua hawasemi. But imagine someone tells you they are experiencing that, or realizing someone has dalili za kuattempt suicide, ukapotezea, and then they actually take their lives. Yani, where does that leave you? You know? So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Brandy, for sharing this. I hope we keep reminding ourselves of these basics and be of help to the people we have influence over. God bless you all.
Amen, Rebecca. Thank you so much for your submission. Our time is really fast spent. Kaka Ahmed, shortly, like kama utasema kwa kifupi. Karibu. Uja unmute microphone, Ahmed.
Okay, habari za jioni.
Hapo tunakusikia.
Kwanza mimi nishukuru kwa hii sharing ambayo umeifanya, na hii inatakiwa ikiwezekana iwe inafanyika mara kwa mara, si tu kwenye group, hata kwenye jamii ambazo zinatuzunguka, kwa sababu matatizo ambayo yanatokea kwenye jamii hizi ni mengi, matukio ni mengi, watu wanajinyonga kutokana na incidents mbalimbali, ikiwa ni pamoja na hali za maisha, ikiwa ni pamoja na watu kukata tamaa, ikiwa ni pamoja na tamaduni mbalimbali. Kuta kwa mfano mtu labda familia fulani, babu fulani wa familia fulani aliwahi labda kujinyonga, kwa kuta ile roho inakuwa inaitafuna huko hadi huko. Kwa hiyo maarifa kama haya yanahitajika yasambae kwenye jamii tofauti, vizazi tofauti tofauti, ili kuendelea kurescue community ambayo inatuzunguka. Kwa hiyo if you have got a chance to share, please spread this knowledge to everybody, and it will be useful for the changing of our communities. And this one will be the medicine and the salt of our community change. Now, it can go in line with the spiritual activities or spiritual acts to the communities. Kwa hiyo mtu kwa imani yake, haijalishi kwamba uko katika imani ipi, lakini ukipata nafasi ya kuweza kushare na kuweza kutengeneza athari chanya kwenye jamii, jambo ambalo linahitajika kwenye jamii. Kwa thank you brother Madati for bringing this to the board, and thank you for the knowledge, and keep sharing this, and God bless you. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Amen. Thank you so much, brother Ahmed. Thank you for being here with us. Kaka Shaban, do you have any word before we come to an end of the session?
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Lakini I just want to appreciate you for the, very informative session. Mimi actually imekuwa like imenipa a lot, lakini pia you know, growing up kwenye my background yangu ni kijijini and my tribe Usukumani huko, we don't have the culture ya ku appreciate, you know, na ku value na ku respect people's feeling, lakini pia kuona kwamba mwanaume unatakiwa, yani anaweza akawa depressed na vitu kama hizo. Sasa mi yani ni community fulani ambayo unaambiwa mwanaume kaza, mwanaume unawazaje kujinyonga, una give up and stuff, lakini yani ulivyoshare kwamba nimeona kumbe ni kitu kinawezekana na it can happen, na I think nimejifunza kwamba I need to respect watu na wanaopitia hizo, lakini pia to be there for them na kuwasikiliza, and again kama ulivyosema, kuwa mtu mzuri, kuwa na friji linalogandisha, you know. So asante sana Brandry, and yeah, keep doing the good work.
Amen, Kaka Shaban. We are happy to have you here, and we are enjoying the partnerships that are going on. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining. Before we close, I want to give a good invitation. If you are here, you have never given your life to Jesus and you'd love to do so. As we said, we respect people's faith. We're not going to push you, but like maybe you feel, I just want to give my life to Jesus. There is that invitation. Well, and if you feel like hapa Zoom nilishare namba yangu kwenye chat bar, bado ipo pamoja na email yangu. Feel free to reach me out. Reach out Rebecca. She's the head of counseling and mentorship department. Reach out Simon. Simon ndo director of all the programs. So reach out to him. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining. We have an amazing program next weekend for 3 days. It's called DBS Workshop. We have very, very awesome people coming. We'll be meeting for 3 days to just learn about code, redefining our identities, discovering our purposes. So again, you want to be part of the program, talk to Simon, talk to Rebecca. But pia we'll have our sleepover program tarehe 27 mwezi wa 9 Arusha na Dar es Salaam, and God willing we may focus our discussion on forgiveness, trying to see how we can find a space to forgive those that walituumiza sana. Simon will share the PowerPoint on our group. If you're not on our group, please join. Tuna group la Purpose Discovery Global, I would say. Then we have Purpose Discovery Dar es Salaam na Arusha. So if you haven't joined, please join. God bless you all, and let me take the microphone back to Simon. Thank you.
Amen. Asante sana kaka Branley and everyone. Mungu awabariki sana kwa kushiriki, and we are sorry for the time. Tumepitiliza zaidi ya dakika 50, lakini kwa kubariki kwa kuwepo hapa. Just say a word of prayer, very brief, and then tutakuwa tumemaliza. Father, we say thank you for this night. Say thank you, umetufundisha na tumekuelewa. Asante Bwana, na tunaomba Mungu zidi kuweka vile vitu ambavyo umeweka ndani yetu vikakae na kuzaa, na sisi pia tuwe msaada kwa watu wengine. Usiku huu pia tunajikabidhi mikononi mwako, neema yako iende pamoja nasi. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. God bless us and have a
Amen.
good
Thank you
night.
so much. Thank you,
Amen.
guys. Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you.